All right, Shera. Those long, slender fingers, pick a winner.
Chicken dinner. Maybe I'm hungry. Oh, I love this question. I love this question so much.
Create a podcast that showcased our unique dynamic.
Now, what's really cool about your podcast is that you actually film it right here in your gym. What is that like?
Dose of Uncommon is truly special and unique. And what sets us apart from anything else is a deep, genuine friendship we have.
You know when you open it, you get to read it for a second. You're like, oh, great. Okay. Top 5 people you could have a conversation with, dead or alive.
Oh, great. How much time do we have?
Top 5. You got 5 seconds.
Number 1 on my list. Number one, of course. Anyone that knows me knows Paul Newman would be my number 1.
Yeah.
He's my hero.
Number 2.
Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln. To sit
Why?
and talk to that man because of what he did, the pressure he was under as the president, and the times he was going through. He abolished slavery. Tremendous pressure that man was under, and the criticism. And President Lincoln had a hard life. Mary, his wife, had mental issues, and he stayed by her side. He battled depression. President Lincoln had a difficult life, and yet he was triumphant. So he would be right in there.
Now, is there any particular order, or did you just shoot them off?
Paul Newman would be my first. He would be my first.
I knew it was
and then
gonna say
Abraham
that.
Lincoln.
I knew it was okay. Number 3.
Who would I like to talk to?
Dead or alive?
Helen Keller, I think, would be a real achiever.
Okay.
Someone that would be fascinating to talk to. Just her life and her times. Wow, that's really difficult.
So that was 3. Right?
I'm trying to go back in time and see if there's anyone in history. Boy, this is really, given some time, I would probably come up with
Okay, so
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain.
Mark
Okay.
Twain, the author.
4.
He was a humorist. He was a very interesting guy. And
They can also be alive too.
okay, well, he just passed away, but I think I'd like to talk to Muhammad Ali.
Ooh.
I think I'd like to talk to Muhammad Ali and to have the honor of sitting with him and talking to him. Wow. Because there's a man of his times. He changed the world. Okay, I'm going to reverse that.
Okay. Number 1, you probably not like this choice, but it doesn't matter because it's my choice. But Michael Jackson, for creativity, for visual, there is no one that is going to ever have the same level of fame Michael Jackson had, ever. I mean, just to see him stand on stage for 10 minutes and people are falling out, screaming.
All over the world.
He hasn't moved. He's standing there. To have that level of, and fame is not the word I want to say, but respect or love from people of all cultures, races. How do you do that? How? That's what I want to know. And he seemed so humble and so shy. How do you get that? And I think that's through his music videos, through his music in general. I want to know. I would love to sit with him and just pick his brain on any topic. I think that would be
And what I admired about him, he dared to be different. Dared to be different.
Unique, yeah.
Stepped completely out of
Yeah.
everything. He stepped out.
In no particular order. You guys probably not gonna like this one. Hitler. Now, because he would be someone that I would want to talk to, because I want to know why. What is the train? Why?
Where did it come from?
Yeah, where did that come from? And also the moxie to pull it off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not in a good or bad way. Just if you were sitting across and you were just having a conversation, why? Why would you ever? Why would you think of that? How did you think of that? And what made you think that you could be the one to pull that off? Why you? So there's a bit of and I don't want to use the term arrogance because it's not necessarily arrogance, but confidence. A level of confidence for you to feel like I can do this, with it being so negative.
Yes.
And spin it to try to make it positive.
Yeah. And he was a supremacist murderer that rose to power.
Yeah.
I mean, those are negative things, and he rose to power.
Yeah. And it's, how did you, what were you thinking? Was this a train of thought you had as a little boy? Was it something you grew up with? Was it, did you get it from your parents? Just those type of questions, because we as people, humans, we never really think that people are all one thing. Like he's in their minds he's 100% evil, and but it had to start somewhere.
Right.
You know, where did that train of thought start? How did it come about? Why? Just why? Third, that's all I got so far. It's just those two. Third, J.K. Rowling.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. I read all of the Harry Potter books. First, they were assignments in school to read. And then, you see this huge book and, oh my God, I gotta read this whole thing. But I mean, maybe 10 pages in, you're hooked. And for her to create this world, I mean, everything in the world is unique of its own,
Yes.
And somehow she put Europe in there a little bit, mixed it in, created these characters. And I'm always intrigued by this thought process. What gave you the first character? What gave you what made you say, "Oh, I should write that. I should make that a book.
Yeah.
I should make that character." This would be, little unique things like the owl. That's Harry Potter's friend. When you have to run through the train station 9 3/4. How, all of that is creativity, imagination. How did you come up with that? And so I think if you're following along with me, my last two people, it's all about the how and the why.
Mm-hmm.
What, your train of thought. Why do you think this way? How do you think this way? Where did it come from? What started it?
And to be confident enough to create your own vocabulary.
Yeah. And normally in past history, witchcraft was always looked down on and looked down upon,
Yes, and
So,
she made it acceptable and positive.
Positive.
That's true, not negative. That's
Yeah.
true.
Remember they used to have witch hunting trials and stoned to death and all that type of stuff. And now as we listen to the story, we see the movies, their kids are going to school. They have wands, they're doing spells, they're learning potions, and it's an accepted thing. It's in a park in Universal. It's so woven into society as something good.
And it's an expanding.
Yeah.
That's great for the mind.
Yeah.
And how many people did she inspire to write? Think about that. Wow. And this woman, and I think which you didn't mention, but I think you have in mind too, was she persevered. Because I know she as if I recall the story, she was writing manuscripts on napkins.
Oh yeah.
And she was declined. She was refused. She was rejected. Oh, this is.
Yeah. I wonder how they feel now. So, recap: Michael Jackson, Hitler, J.K. Rowling, Obama. Now, I'm so. For example, when you speak and you go through history and you tell me things that have happened, I now look back at the history that I've been a part of, and someday I'm going to tell someone younger than me, a grandchild or someone, man, I was around to see the first Black president become the president. That's never going to happen again, never. And I was around to see that. I watched it on TV. I wish I was there in person to see it, but that's a part of history that grandchildren, the next 3 generations, are going to read in a book. Also, COVID. I mean, they're going to read that in a book. The big virus that had the whole world shut completely down. We lived through that.
That's right.
We saw that. We saw the news. We were sitting captivated at the news, waiting for one little thing. If they said jump, we're going to ask how high, right? That is what they're going to read in their books. And we can say, well, yeah, I remember what that was about. I was there. So Obama is, yeah, smart, intellectual, very, very good guy. But I want to know what it felt like to you go from being nominated, your Democratic Party, you do all this stuff, and then now you're the president-elect. What is going through your mind? And as cool and calm, as collected as he looks, I know he's freaking out inside because I would. You are the first. Anyone follows after you, that's
you're the standard.
But
too.
You're the standard. So right before you walked out and did your speech, what was that like? I mean, did you want to turn back and no, I don't want to do this? You had to have some nerves, you were scared, and I want to know that process, just what he was thinking, and then his life leading up to that. Did he even think that he could?
Wow. Who thinks they could be the president?
But confidence
Especially,
again, confidence, and unique, different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I remember about that, and you're right, and that's a great thing you touched on, the great history we were a part of.
Yeah.
To me, speaking for myself, that's when the country's morale was greatest. Mm-hmm. When Obama won, it showed the world it could be done. Yeah. But more than that, for me, it felt like a new start, a fresh start. Everybody was optimistic. Let's see what Obama can do. He beat the odds. He's young, he's vibrant, he's intelligent, he's a great communicator. Yes, let's go with this and forget the good old boys club. And it was an adventure. Everybody, I don't remember the country's morale and the newspapers, on the media, everything being so happy that, yes, let's go forward. Yeah. That's what I remember. I don't remember much negativity at all. I'm sure there was in certain pockets of the country. I don't remember as a whole much negativity when Obama was elected. It was mostly celebration and happiness and positivity, and let's move forward with an optimistic view. That's what I recall, and I said, yes, finally the right turn for the country. If he lost, it's like we'll never achieve. Because he was the man. He was the man to do it, and he was capable. And he had, like you said, the confidence.
Oh, yeah.
And the huge change, the changes. And again, with the other people that you mentioned, even though Hitler was, what he was, there was pressure on Hitler too. He was running most of the world, in the direction he wanted to. So there was pressure on him. He was the leader. Any leader, there's pressure. Yeah. But for Obama to go into such a field of change and be the beacon and be the leader, because also whatever doesn't work right, he's the scapegoat. He's the fall guy. And he knew that. And he took it upon himself anyway with his family. Yeah. Good call. Good choice. Very interesting person.
I know. Number 5. You guys are going to love this. Walt Disney.
Good call. Sure.
Walt Disney, because, if we ever had to think about a legacy, that's That's him.
Mm-hmm.
You walking in this park, his name is everywhere.
Anywhere in the
It's
world.
in your sleep because your kids want to watch a Disney movie or you know what I mean? He is ingrained in every single thing that we do. Disney. From when we were kids, we remember Cinderellas and the Tarzans and the, you know what I mean? These Lion Kings, these stories that we all grew up on. Disney. You know what I mean? We go to the park whenever whenever you have a child and they get to a certain age. What do? We take them to the theme park. What other theme park are we taking them to? Disney. You know, in Orlando, or you know, maybe somewhere in Asia they have a Disney in Asia. You know what I mean? Disney has its own world. It's once you get on the compound, everything is Disney. You're in a separate world from any place else. How did the thought process to think of that, to think of longevity? I want my name here for decades after I'm gone. I want them to say my name after that. But not so much in that arrogant way, but in a way of laughter and fun and family. You know what I mean? There's no way you go to Disney and you think of anything negative.
Boy, yes.
To have the mind frame for that, to create that. Maybe he didn't know how far it would go, but just the thought that has grown into what we know today. If we go back to that, what is it, 1918 or when it first started, how you bought a land and, okay, I'm going to turn this into a theme park. There had to be some kind of something behind that made you say, I want to have these characters, these princesses. You know, you're gonna through that you're gonna develop the minds of young children to want to be princesses. To, you know what I mean? Your films are gonna help grow these children into what they want to be, or through your film you're gonna teach them how to behave, how to accept, or how to love, or you know what I mean? To have that level of confidence again, that I'm going to be this guy. I want to be this guy. I'm going to take my money, I'm going to invest it here, and this is the guy I'm going to be. That is truly remarkable. I think with all of the 5 people that I've selected, what is the common denominator is confidence. It's confidence.
Well, more than that, I was analyzing this, the difference between yours and mine. Everyone you selected was a visionary.
Oh, yeah.
They were a visionary. Not all my selections are people I admired, but they weren't all visionaries. Yours was, especially, and I'm so happy that everyone that followed Disney kept his legacy, his name. The movies they're making now have the Disney name. Pocahontas, Hercules, Frozen. They are still in the spirit of this man who created fun, laughter, and happiness for children. To grow up in an environment as difficult as the world is with war and everything, this man said, I'm going to keep sunshine in the world with his image and his visionary. And I'm so happy that that legacy is alive and always will be. You know, but all your choices were visionary people who were, Michael Jackson, looking outside. He took music in another direction.
Yeah.
Looking outside himself and looking ahead and expanding. Everyone, even as bad as he was, Hitler, visionary and expansion. His you know, his philosophy was faulty, but it was on a grand scale. Visionary. Everyone you selected was
J.K. Rowling, visionary.
Were visionary.
World.
Created a world that she could continue to expound on. How many books did she write? Yes. Yeah. Who? Is that a number? That's a big number.
Maybe in her book.
Yeah. What number is who? We'll have to ask a muggle.
A lot. Yeah, I mean, you know, for Michael Jackson, you have children, babies that know how to do the moonwalk.
They move like him,
yeah, and they have the hat. They move like him. I mean, that's influence.
Yeah,
he's gone. He can't even perform for them. And I've always said to you, if I had a time machine, oh my God, the things I would do, I would go back and I would just, you know, wear the clothes and like blend in the concert. And I would just love to just be sitting there and watching him just on stage. What was that like? You know what I mean? What was that like? What did that feel like to be in that front row, to see him live?
Yes.
That type of influence, that type of visionary.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's inspiring.
The excitement, and you're seeing something timeless.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in order to have the vision, you got to have the confidence. That is the key to that. Because you can have a visionary who will give someone else the vision because he doesn't want to be in the forefront. But you have to have the confidence and what they say, the wherewithal to go with it, no matter what anyone says, no matter what criticism there is. That's what you see. And
Fierce independence.
Yeah, with all my picks, I think what I admire in those picks is just the confidence that they had to, push their train of thought into a new way of life. Yeah.
Yes, very much so. Huge confidence, and those are the successful people. Those are the really successful people. And we've done past shows where we talk about, don't listen to the naysayers.
Yeah.
And successful people don't. They go their own way, and that's how they succeed. What do they say? Every inventor is a fool until his invention works, and suddenly he's a genius.
Yeah. Sometimes when you come up with something and people say, "Oh, this is a dumb idea, it's stupid," and you put it away and you never work on it again, that could have been something that changed the world. That could have been something that made life different. And if you don't pursue that, if you don't at least try, you don't care what anyone says, you don't know what can happen. So, for example, with Steve Jobs, right? I'm sure when he started, everyone said, "Oh, Apple's stupid." An apple? What is that? Think about that, because no one really has like a yes right in the beginning. There's always someone that says, "Oh no, that's stupid. You want to call a phone an apple? Why?" And he kept going. Kept pushing, kept inventing, kept putting out new things, and boom, today, everyone has an Apple. You can walk down the street and there's an Apple phone in 9 out of the 10 people's hands that you see.
Very true.
And if he stopped, he wouldn't have that.
If we didn't think it would work.
Yeah. So that's what I mean about the confidence. It doesn't matter what people say, you're gonna do it anyway. And that you need that confidence along with the vision to make it a successful thing.
And everybody's talked about you had that combination.
Yeah.
Everybody you mentioned.